dating. And I personally, I look for guys with a job, you know, but I didn't realize how high like women's standards can go at times. So I was very much like shocked at
that sort of space. But when I'm back, he's immediately like, let's celebrate. Like, I want to take you out, and I'm like, okay.
Oh, how many dates have you guys gone on?
One.
Okay.
Yeah, we went on one right before I left. That was our first date.
Date. Go ahead. Sorry.
So now we'll go, I guess, on a second one and see.
Okay.
But he's kind of short. He's only like 5'9".
Oh, that's you're what, like 5'9",
I'm 5'8".
right?
I'm 5'8".
That's tall enough, right?
Not really. You know, manifesting a tall man. One of the other guys I'm talking to is 6'7".
Oh wow.
Okay.
Yeah. And we'll be going out soon. It's just a matter of like scheduling. We just haven't been able to like link on the schedules. We both work a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. There's another guy who I just made this whole TikTok about, who was like all about me, asking me out, calling me all these pet names, my love, and all this shit. And then we're talking, and I was like, "Oh, you have the vaccine, right?" And he was like, "No." I was like, "You're not vaccinated, and you want to go out with me?" I'm like, "I'm not going out with you if you're not vaccinated. What, do you expect me to be kissing you? You're not vaccinated?" I'm like, "Get the fuck out."
Really? Oh, I wouldn't care. I would care.
I'm in too many arenas where you have to be vaccinated. Like, I work at a yoga studio where we're requiring proof of vaccination. That's where I am right now, folding all this laundry. I also do all these music festivals where they're requiring proof of vaccination. And to me, it's so much deeper than just like, do you or don't you? It's about that, like, I don't want to have that debate with you, right? Like, clearly, if we don't view it the same way, we're not in alignment.
Right. So would you not date someone that was different than you, like, politically?
No, I wouldn't.
What are your standards? Like, what are your requirements for a guy?
I mean, politically, I definitely want us to have the same view. You know, I'm a black woman, right? So I'm not going to date like a white Republican. That would just be a headache. Like, why would we do that to ourselves? Like, we wouldn't have the same friends. We wouldn't travel in the same circles, and we don't view the world the same way. So I want someone who views the world the same as me. And even if you're not black, but you're white, and you like get and understand the black struggle, fine, that's fine. But yeah, I definitely want them to have the same political views as me, because it's just why bother in having those arguments?
Okay.
You know, just going to turn into a fight later.
Yeah. No. So what else?
Well, I have to have a car. This other guy who didn't have the vaccine, he didn't even have a car. I was like, how are you coming to take me out? You don't have a car. You know, I'm not driving anywhere.
Yeah.
So that's like minimum requirement. You have to have a car. I've also realized that I want someone that has like some sort of creative or like job and entertainment like I have. You have to be very ambitious, because I am very ambitious. I want to be able to, like, you know, we'll spend our days or whatever separately, and then at the end of the night, I want us to be able to come together and talk about all of the exciting things that happen in each of our lives, right? Like, this other guy was like, "Well, I'm not rich. I'm a regular guy," and I was like, "That's fine, but like, I'm not a regular girl. Like, I'm not." So, like, if you are going to date me, like, either you have to be able to handle that, or you yourself also has to not be like regular. Like, I don't think I'm like just an average person. Like, that to me is boring.
Okay, so is there like do you care? Okay, would you be cool with a guy that makes less money, but he's a hard worker, like he's ambitious?
Yeah.
Okay, so like if he was making like, let's say he just started his own business, but he makes $45,000 a year, would you date him?
You wouldn't be able to afford my engagement ring. I'm getting an 8-carat cushion cut vintage engagement ring. If you make $45,000 a year, it would take you 4 years? No. 8 years to afford.
Wait, how much? I don't know anything about rings. How much is that?
About $200,000.
Girl, you want a $200,000? Are you insane?
My ring has to sparkle from across the street. Like, you have to see that shit. It's gonna blind people.
But that's so superficial. That's like so superficial.
But it's about so much more than that. It's about the fact that you can afford that, right? I go to yoga with this girl who has an 8-carat diamond engagement ring.
Yeah.
With a weed company and drives an Audi. So it's about more than just it's about the fact that you can afford that.
Okay. Well, I'm just thinking like you're gonna miss out on a lot of guys, because I'm telling no, but not in a good way. Not in a good way. I'm telling you, like, my dad would, if my mom asked for that from my dad would have told her to go find a new boyfriend, because there's no way in hell he was going to spend $200,000 on an engagement ring. And that's No, and that's a multimillionaire in the top 0.5% who had 10 kids. My
He's that
mom never
now.
had.
He built to
What?
that. You said he's built to the becoming that. He wasn't that originally, right?
He wasn't. Well, he was making like 6 figures in his early 20s.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So any woman with half a brain would think, this is a good. But my dad's like, he's good with money. He's not like to me that's like such an unwise investment to spend 200K.
Diamonds appreciate.
Oh my God,
Jesus
no,
Christ.
no. Oh my God, no. That's like I would rather put that in a college fund for our kids or like.
Yeah, they'll have that too.
But this just sounds like not like real to me, you know?
Really?
Yeah,
well,
like
I don't know. For me, like I told you, like my status is going up. Like I just did a music festival where I made 30 grand over the weekend in one weekend. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, like I need somebody who can be on that level.
Right, but the problem is like guys don't care about your money.
Right, but I care.
I know, but it doesn't like, like I think you're gonna miss out on a lot of guys with like this. Like to me, these are like crazy high standards.
So today I listened to my dating coach. She said, "You do not get your expectation; you get your minimum standard."
Mm-hmm. Is your dating coach married?
Yes, and she has a baby, and her wedding ring is at least 5 carats.
Yeah,
and her man is rich, and she doesn't even have to work.
You know,
and she herself makes like 30 to 50 grand a month. Coaching women in love.
I mean, good luck if that like works for you. I just like to me that sounds like a 200K engagement ring. Like I think like guys are going to hear that and be like, no.
Because you just have to have the man who's okay with maintaining you. Right?
With maintaining you?
Right. Like you can be high maintenance, but if you are dating a man that is okay with maintaining you, you're fine. You're not high maintenance, then you're just on their level.
Okay, but I'm just thinking like like I know, but those guys that are making like that amount of money, like I think they typically want like the young like 21, 22-year-olds.
I don't think so. And
maybe. What?
I'm 30, so I'm not that old. I'm actually an age to be wiped up by somebody who's like in their 40s and like ready to be serious and start popping out babies. A 21-year-old, unless you're Kylie Jenner, is realistically too young to be like popping out kids. Like you're too young.
Yeah, I mean, that's just. I'm sorry, the $200,000 like that's crazy to me. That's like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe that's crazy.
Someone that can make that amount of money in a shorter period of time, like somebody who is, say, a musical artist, right? A musical producer, somebody who's in entertainment, somebody who's on a TV show, somebody who does like concerts and tours. That amount of money isn't the same to them. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
Like, say I was dating somebody like a G-Eazy, right?
Okay.
G-Eazy makes $150,000 minimum per show. Minimum. That's what he makes in a show.
Yeah.
So if he does a couple shows, the 200 grand to him, he won't even feel it.
No, but like this is someone coming from someone like I've been in a relationship with a guy that was worth over $1 million. Like but I would never in a million years ask him to spend 200K on a ring. Like to me, that's almost like entitled. Like I'm not entitled to his money.
I mean, here's the thing: if I can afford it myself, I would want you to be able to get it for me, right?
Yeah.
Get it myself.
Wow. Oh my gosh, that's just. Yeah, I guess like we kind of probably have different like views on like spending habits. Because to me, I'm like I would even if I had the money, I would never spend that on a ring.
But I'm also not that much of a jewelry person, right? So it's like, you're not going to need to be buying me diamonds for every anniversary or jewelry all the time. Like, get me my ring, and that's it.
She's looking at things that
talking
really doesn't. I'm sorry. She's going to be in a very unhappy relationship. If she finds that person, it's all based on whatever is exterior. She doesn't care about anything deeper, and I feel sorry for her. She doesn't actually know what's important. And I really feel for the men. Like, guys who have so much, they're working so hard. They're trying to prove themselves because society makes them. Because you have to make your way in society. You have to do so much to prove yourself these days. And to have this girl come here and just completely belittle you on the internet. These are good men out there. And they don't they don't deserve you don't even deserve a McDonald's from them. I'm sorry, but it's not about the dollar sign, it's about the intention. Mm-hmm. I would love, even if, who cares about the food? If a guy takes me to McDonald's and then buys me a meal, amazing. I love McDonald's. Mm-hmm. Like, what's wrong with that? It's the intention. It's the fact that he made a point and said, hey, I've got this. I want to take you out. I want to get you the meal. That's the point. It's not about how much it is. It's about the fact that someone went out of their way and they wanted to do a wonderful gesture for you. That's the point. And to sit here and demand an 8-carat ring so that someone next door can see you across the road. Well, one, you've got insecurities because you feel like that's what's going to add value to you, because
so
it's not.
I'm interested because it's quite interesting that upsets you, because that's why I asked you. Well, I'm glad you clarified, because at the beginning you said you feel sorry for her, then you said you felt sorry for men, because off the bat of that, I feel sorry for men because, I mean, right. Remember I said before we even watched it, I knew what the woman looked like? Mm-hmm. And I think we can all categorically agree, without being harsh, that is a bang average looking lady. Mm-hmm. So that's the problem. You're a bang average looking lady with I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. And I think she listed one thing that she offers. She made 30 grand over the weekend. You told her men don't care about money. She then went on to say, but it's what I care about. But it's what she has nothing. All she has a list of requirements, and she can't even offer the first thing that men appreciate, which is what she looks like. Which to me, I know beauty's in the eye of the beholder, but that's a bang average looking lady. I don't know what you think. You can be honest.
No, it's facts. No,
yeah, she's bang average. So yeah. If she was a very incredibly pretty lady, at least it adds some sort of substance. At least it adds some sort of, level where you can say, all right, cool. She's in the top 10% of ladies in the world. She's asking for these requirements, but at least off the bat, she's pretty. But to give all of those requirements and to be, oh God,
honestly,
shocking.
I think the fact that, she felt like she could say that and like felt like she had ground to stand on is crazy. Like the fact that, you can, she feels like she's like, she can expect that. Mm-hmm. And she was saying stuff like, you get like the minimum expectation. Mm-hmm. I think it was something along those lines, right? Mm-hmm. No, you get to have cats and probably die alone. And I have no like ill intent towards this woman, but seriously, if you are acting like that, anyone who's got that money is not going to spend that money in that way, because it's dumb. It doesn't make sense. And the fact that she felt comfortable to say that in public is just like, what has it come to? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. What is going on?
But that is delusion. More common than you think as well, by the way. That might seem extreme, but it's actually not. A lot of women think that's what they desire.
I deserve this by existing. It's like,
how common would you say that is?
I think more in America that's common in the UK.
You think it's more common in America?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's uncommon here, though. I wouldn't say it's uncommon here.
I think they vocalize it more in America.
They definitely vocalize it more.
Which I appreciate in a way, because at least they're honest about it. But yeah, in the UK...
Do you think that's honesty or delusion?
Delusion.
A mixture of both, to be honest. I think she's delusionally honest.
She's being honest about how deluded she is.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
Factual.
That's how I see it anyway.
Yeah, because it lets the men know who to avoid.
Exactly.
100%.
What if a woman comes to you, this is for everybody, what if a woman comes to you and says that, and you tell her you're delusional, and she's like, well, I don't want to lower my standards to be able to get some random guy. I'm going to keep my standards like this. What would you guys say to her?
I'm very much, I say it how it is. I don't really cut out, the rough parts. I just I don't beat around the bush. I'm just direct to it. I just tell her straight up, like, if you're expecting this, then you're not going to get far with what you want. And you need to reevaluate and reassess everything. If you think to this extreme, and also, like, say, the example I gave earlier, like the single mother, obviously I'm not going to be, like, too harsh, because she's got at the end of the day she's got a kid to look after, but like you got to tell them, like, you need to humble yourself, you can't go around expecting all this while, like, you're burdening the man on the other side of the coin.
Well, it's kind of like if you're a used car and you're asking new prices, you can say that, like, no one, the only buyers that are going to come are the ones that can afford you. But if no buyers come, then what does that leave you? Should be on discount.
Yeah.
On sale. I don't understand why it's such a bad thing to be on sale. I'm on sale from 22.
Yeah, I feel you.
Sale. Be 50% off.
Yo. Me and Jess are on a 2-for-1 special. Sister wives.
Little twofer.
Yeah, she's delusional, man. But yeah, it's crazy.
What was your reaction? Go ahead.
I had to watch that again. But anyway, yeah. Okay, she's to blame because she's allowing herself to, run away with all these fantastical ideas, but also the dating coach. I think the dating coach is taking her for a ride. And it's just like, I'm going to just leave you to it and get the money. And then now she's fending for... If the dating coach actually said, I want you to actually meet this man who is willing to give 200K, whatever, then that's something. But I think she's definitely being played.
No, I looked up the dating coach. She was hotter. Hotter girls get better results.
Surprising.
And I'm just like...
And it's so sad because the dating coach is making her believe, yeah, you can get what I've got.
That's what girls will say. Like, okay, for example, Sierra, right? In a way, she raised her price a bit. And she ended up with... Like, I'd say Russell's a better husband than Future. But that works if you're hot. I mean, maybe
she can afford to do that. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying I don't think it works the majority of the time. Everyone looks at Russell as a simp, but the girls that it works out for
I do, by the way.
Are what?
Yeah.
I think he's a simp.
Yeah. But
100%.
The girls that it works out for are extremely hot. That's not going to work for the average girl, and so they'll look at girls that do that are hotter than them and think, oh, if I do that, then I could. But it's like, nah.
Well,
it ain't you.
I also think that women giving women advice a lot of the time tends to be telling them what they want to hear rather than what they need to hear. I honestly feel like that's the way things are going, whether it's like, girl, you were 10, like that's most of the case never true, right? 10s are perfect, and I happen to believe that perfect never exists. So there's always a way to better yourself. So
and also
I've
women,
at it, but
sorry, go on, bro.
saying that, like, they can get, like, these high earning men, it's the same thing. It's just telling them what they want to hear because they want that in a man. So the advice is, you're right in wanting that, you deserve that, be all that, bullshit. When at the end of the day, the need to hear is you need a reality check and you need to sort your head out because it's like you ain't going anywhere.
Do you think that's all women, like what we saw in the video, or do you think it's a certain type of ethnicity or demographic of women? This is a question for everybody.
I mean, I could keep it 100 and say that's more of a problem in the black community. I think, in my opinion,
I can't speak to that.
I'm not gonna hide. It is what it is. My community, we have some problems, man.
Yeah.
It's facts. It's facts. We got higher requirements. And at the end of the day, this is why I'm very passionate about this actually, because I travel the world. I've been everywhere, and anywhere I go to, black people at the bottom when it comes to any financial requirement, any financial metric. We're always at the bottom, yet we require the highest thing. So, yeah, in my community, in the black community, in the dating community, in the black community, in the dating world as well, we have a lot of issues we got to deal with. I keep it 100. So it's specific to communities, I think. Yeah.
Have you guys ever had to tell a friend that they're shooting too high?
Mm-hmm.
How'd that go for you?
She knew.
Oh, she knew.
She knew, and so she was just quiet.
Did she adjust?
Oh yeah, I think she did.
Yeah, she ended up
because I think she was forced to. Like that woman.
Yeah.
She wants a real, actual man. Mm-hmm. This sounds so stupid that we're saying this, but to the point when she's not getting that actual connection with an actual human being because she's always fantasizing. I think she'll be forced to humble herself. And that's the thing. When she's forced to humble herself and lower her standards, it'll be too late for her. And she's just going to, whatever she can get, basically.
Well, she, no, I've seen her TikToks recently. It's like the same.
Yeah.
Oh my, yeah, they're not. Yeah.
Oh, God.
But it's sad, though, because she's never had a boyfriend either.
Never?
And she's
No,
30, right?
Ever?
She never had a boyfriend.
That woman on the video.
Oh.
Yeah, she never had a boyfriend.
With all these
I don't
requirements.
doubt that somehow.
Yeah, but that's why she almost seemed
Sadly.
unrealistic, like delusional about
Very
what like a
delusional,
relationship
yeah.
is.
I
'cause
might
she
feel
kn-
sorry for her a little bit after hearing that because now she's going to a dating coach when she should coach herself, like as in, get experience.
Why would you
Dating.
feel sorry for someone who put themselves in that
True, I
position?
said a little
It's
bit
like,
because I feel like she's actually I don't know.
She also
I
had the
don't
cheek
know.
to
I'm
say,
trying.
I'm not that interested in jewelry either after she required a 200K.
I know,
ring.
she was like, yeah, but that's
And
it,
I'm like,
right? I'll be
okay.
made.
Yeah, I would hope that you don't require anything, like no
crazy.
presents for
It's crazy.
ever.
Oh
200K.
my God.
Man.
I think because I did say that I feel sorry for her, so I think I'll answer that question from my point of view. I think it's coming from a place where I think she doesn't know better, and she's on her journey of whatever it is,
think that's
and I feel sad that I pity her. I would hope that people would find more meaningful things in a relationship beyond an unrealistic number.
I don't pity her at all because I just think that's an excuse. Like you're 30 years old, you don't know.
I don't pity her. She's a grown ass woman.
like,
I'm
and
19. I can see that.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like men hit reality hard. They're rejected by that girl at 16 in math class, and she lets the whole class know, but she turns you down because she looks better if she could turn down more guys.
I think,
So reality hits men hard. Where women, it's like we choose to live in delusion, and it's a choice because clearly, if she's never had a boyfriend, there's been no takers.
I'm not saying
that's
that
true.
I'm not saying that I'm relieving her of her own like I'm not saying that she shouldn't take responsibility for her life and her choices and the way she presented herself.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that. It's just my personal way of reacting to things.
I understand.
I'm just a very empathetic person, so I think I would want everyone to be on a great place. I wouldn't want anyone to be discriminated or being treated poorly, and that's why I'm upset because I really feel for people who are being somehow told you're not good enough because you can't get me. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
That's just me. It's not. I'm not generalizing for everyone. That's just a personal thing, and I feel it's really sad that these people exist.
This is why I think it's important. See, I'm not mad. I'll keep it 100. If you was a male getting upset about that, I would have a different reaction to you. The fact that you're a female, again, I'm upset that I can understand that. And this is why I also encourage men not to be too emotional, because emotional men would accept what she's asking for and end up wifing her. and it's a snowball effect. You have a woman like that asking for 1 million requirements, and if you're a man that feels sorry for them type of women, you start wifing them type of women, encouraging more women to have a list of even more requirements, and then men start wifing them as well. So it's important that I think we understand the difference. That you're a female getting upset by that, that's fine. If it's a man getting upset by that, that would almost encourage him to accept what she's asking for. Yeah.
Do you think if you've said this before to bring back bullying, do you think if she was bullied,
bruh, it would solve so many problems. It would solve no, I'm serious. So none of y'all have been humble. You know what? My brother told me I had a big nose until I was 22. And you know what? It humbled me.
Hey, here you are now.
You have a great nose.
Bruh, thank you. but literally, my brother, from like the time I was a kid, he would always tell me I was ugly, and honestly, I feel like it kept me down to earth. No, it made me better.
Right. Yeah,
it made me better.
Yeah, good.
And you know what I was fat. I got on the treadmill. You know what I mean?
Fix your problem.
Bruh, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, if someone was like. That's what I was saying. When I watch it back, I'm like, I wish I was a little bit more direct. But I was in shock. I don't know if you saw my face. I was like,
But see, it's you though. You use that to actually fuel yourself to do the right thing instead of feeling sorry for yourself.
Yeah. No, that's what I think too.
I mean, the problem with that is every person internalizes and deals with trauma differently. So it's some people do it exactly the way you do it. So you actually make it into fuel and you make it useful. The problem is there are a lot of people who don't, and that's why we end up with situation where suicide happens, and because people cannot get out of it and it spirals out of control. And I think that's the thing. Like, everyone's an individual. You will process your trauma differently. I was bullied and it was horrible, and yes, I understand that the bully was bullied as well. It was a cycle. She then felt that in order to feel better about herself, she's going to bully her own people who are under her, and she was infamous for it. And it's so sad. It got so many people mentally unwell, work-related stress. People who had to go. People just left because it wasn't well. And I know there were people that I worked with who still cannot go back to that workplace because if they're near it, she goes into a panic attack. And
I don't think in general tough times build tough people.
Facts.
That's what I think. Like, I mean, like, yeah, some people process it differently, but I just think in general we're in a place in society where no one can handle criticism ever. And it's like how do you think I deal with the comments all the time? Like, I have girls roasting every part of my appearance right now on my Insta. I don't care. My brothers did that for me the first week.
The same people that preach body positivity.
Yeah, it's the whales. The whales are coming. The whales are coming. Like, I just think that tough times breed tough people.
It does, but I think again that depends on the personality. And I personally have, and I still deal with mentally unwell patients, and I can tell you it's very sad at the different stories they go through, the horrors they've lived through from childhood and onwards, and the honest truth is you cannot just tell them just suck it up and deal with it, because it is trauma. And
what else do you do though? Like because it's like it's kind of like if you don't like what are you supposed to do? I mean, I understand like you go through the trauma, maybe you talk about it. So can I ask the question? So then like you go through the trauma, you talk about it, but then it's like, what now? Like the only thing you can do is move forward.
So it's about realizing. So for example, the idea of triggering, right? I don't understand what the whole idea of trigger warning is. I think, as you say, it's like trying to cater to a certain amount of people who can't deal with the fact that they're triggered by something. The important thing about being triggered is that actually whatever is triggering you is a statement. It's neutral, and you are being triggered because you, for some reason, have some type of trauma because of that. So, for example, it's very personal, but one of the things I saw online, different YouTuber, the guys were saying exactly the same. If you're a girl if you are a girl who have been single for a certain amount of time, that's a red flag. And the first time I heard that, I was triggered. I was like, oh my God, like, what? And rather than react, which a lot of people do, a lot of girls then they lash out and they're horrible. I say to myself, no. Why are you triggered? And I was like, because he's saying truth. Because guess what? When you meet someone, first impression is your innate alarm system. You need that to try and, protect yourself. It's natural to have an alarm. Now, of course, it's important to then, when you get to know someone, because you can't always judge a book by their cover. So it's important to take the red flags, but don't run with it and take it beyond end all. And so I asked myself, why on earth are you triggered? Because you shouldn't be. It's a statement. And I said, it's because I've been single for a while. And guess what? It's triggering me because I don't want to. I don't want to be single.
If you know, it's most...
And this is the thing. So I realized, hey, what are you going to do about it? Well, why don't you work on yourself? Why don't you work on your femininity? Why don't you work on making yourself the best version you can so that maybe when the right person come in, then you're the right energy to be with that person.
If you notice, most people are triggered by the truth, like you said. So if someone says something about it that's not true, that wouldn't trigger me personally. I don't think it triggers. If someone says, "Oh, you're this, you're that," and it's not true, I can say no. It's not.
Like if someone called you short, you wouldn't care.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not forced.
Exactly.
But I don't know, because I always think about when we talk about trauma, like what is trauma? Because throughout all of human history, we're all involved in like wars, starvations, plagues, and now it's like we talk about like trauma being okay. You were bullied a little bit as a kid. Like I just feel like our ancestors would look at us and laugh.
It's
because throughout all of human history, we had horrible lives, and nobody had to go to a psychologist and talk about it.
I honestly feel like it's because we've started catering to the people who are traumatized. So like, I'm not saying they shouldn't get help. What I'm saying is that having things like trigger warnings, right? There's stuff like exposure therapy for a reason. But if we start like saying, oh yeah, this person can't hear that, then it's just gonna like set them up to be triggered for it. You know what I mean? Like, so if it becomes normalized and you hear it day to day, then like you're not going to be triggered. And if it still triggers you, that's when you have to go and seek therapy, right? To better yourself.
For me, it's really frustrating to see mental health and trauma get used as almost like buzzwords in today's society, because I've seen it in my family. I've seen it firsthand. People going through some real shit. So when people just like start using like, oh, I'm going through mental health, I'm going through, it's
like from an ex-boyfriend. It's like trauma's supposed to be from like war.
Exactly.
Not an ex that like cheated on you.
Exactly. When we use them examples, people like will say, I think because every society, every generation deals with a new set of problems, right? So it's like, yes, we have different problems as to problems that they had 50 years ago, but we need to understand that the world we live in is much better than it was 100 years ago. Like, we need to understand that and embrace it and stop using everything as like, because I think the problem with it is like, my brother went through mental health, right? And I think when I was watching him go through it was a 10-year span, him getting better and worse and on and off. And the best advice I gave, at first I was very sympathetic and I was like, oh, don't worry, we're here to help you. When he got better is when I was harsh with him. I said, look, no one's here to save you, bro. You keep doing this, keep doing that. That's you, bro. That's when he started to realize, when I was more empathetic with him and sympathetic with him, he was getting worse because he had someone to kind of lean on and just...
No, enable. I think the same way, like the last like breakup I was in, it was kind of like, because I really only talked to my family about that sort of stuff for the most part. And my dad was just like, shut up. He's like, shut up, it's over. Move on. And I was just like, damn.
It's just how it's
that harsh.
Did you die?
No, I did. I was like, you know what? He's right. He's right.
If anything, you actually, you can move on with your life because you'll never get it back. The time that we waste.
Yeah, that's what my dad said.
That's the best thing. I think one of the best things.
Look forward. That's my dad always tells me. He's like, look forward. You literally can't change the past.
Change the past.
And even my dad, he had like a tough childhood. Yeah. And growing up, people would like. There were comments that he should like go to therapy about it or whatever, and his mindset was just like, why? It's over. Like, what's talking about it gonna do? Like, you want me to talk about my problems and feel
traumatic.
better?
That's more traumatic.
That's what.
Exactly.
You know what's interesting though? He was doing something called radical acceptance, and that's something that's done in therapy. So he just did his own therapy.
Oh, okay.
So therapy is not like.
But that's just built different.
Yeah, because look, so many people, everybody's different. So it's not like therapy just to be in a room and the same results.
Yeah.
So he did his own therapy, and you just have to radically accept things are the way they are, and I just move on. Or I accept that, okay, maybe I got bullied because I'm ugly.
Yeah.
I just have to accept that I'm not a 10
Yeah.
and move on.
It's kind of like a
That's
subtopic. I don't know if you know when Morgan Freeman I think he got asked in an interview. They're like, "Oh, how do we get over racism?" And he said, "Stop talking about it."
Right.
And then I was at first. When I first saw that about 8 years ago, I was like, "What the hell is this guy talking about? Black man on TV saying stop talking about racism? Is it not?" But when I got older and I realized, hold on, he's bang on, because it's just like we're talking about with trauma, like or mental health. Like you get over things by just moving on, cracking on, moving forward. If we all think about our darkest and deepest times, I think about them, and when I think about them, it makes me feel worse. I don't want to talk about it. I want to crack on. And then as soon as I got that harsh reality, bro, no one's here to save you, keep moving, that's when I felt better about myself.
I just feel like life is so short. You're never going to be younger than you are now. You're never going to have more energy than you are now. Like, and that's what, I don't know. I always try to get things done like as quickly as I can, because you just never know how much time you got left. And it's like, you're going to spend the time you have worried about some shit that happened yesterday. I can't change it.
Yeah.
I think the thing is that all of us here are more on the practical side, even the girls. So yes, of course, I'm the same as you. But from my experience as a more of a clinician, I've realized that there are different personality disorders. There are people who think very differently from us, and the problem you see them in feminism is that they don't know how to deal with the trauma, so it turns into hate, it turns into feminism, it turns into trying to exile an entire gender.
Don't you think
that's the problem, because certain people, certain people are great with dealing with trauma. They know how to deal with themselves. Some people can't, and the problem with them is that
Would you say
they
can't or choose not to? You don't think, because again, throughout all of human history, like we had wars, we had famine, we had all of these horrible, horrible things. Like, you don't think on some level it's a choice?
I think the difficulty as well is that part of it is, for example, personalized disorders. They are actually cultivated from childhood, and they are very prevalent in broken families. People who have the wrong type of father and mother figures, and it's very sad, because what happens is the child they don't learn how to basically be an adult and deal with things an adult way. So they do if you see it, basically they're very childish in the way they do things. They throw anger tantrums.
Don't we think, can I just quickly, because I think this is important, I got the answer already, I'm going to ask it anyway. Don't we think that adding all these different personality disorders is the problem? Because I've seen it as a kid. So I went to a normal school, rough kids, good kids, whatever. It was a bit of a mixture, and an interruptive or dismissive child, he's got ADHD. This other kid, he's got that. But it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. You label a 12-year-old with ADHD, he's gonna grow old. I've seen kids use it as an excuse. I got ADHD, I can't control myself, or I got this, because they've been diagnosed at such a young age with such issues. It's like you just live on.
It's justified.
Well, it's like you can't even with ADHD, you can't do anything about it otherwise than put yourself on Ritalin from like being a child, which doesn't seem like because honestly they like I'm pretty energetic, and I've been like, people have diagnosed me, and I have to say diagnosed because it's so easy to get diagnosed.
Exactly.
I don't even count it, but it's like, but I was like, what am I gonna do? I could take drugs. And it's like, you don't sleep on the drugs. So I was like, I don't want to do that. And my other choice is to make excuses and say that's everything. And I just like, no, I'll just be normal.
The other thing is that you might know more about this, about the DSM and the fact that mental illnesses, there's a debate in what actually is a mental illness, like an actual one, or are you just catering to the patient? If the patient says, I'm feeling this way, I don't know. I'm not sure what it means, but I forgot what the actual term is. But if a woman's been abused from rape, mentioned it first time, then there's some sort of she has a mental illness that says that she wanted that to happen or something. Like really, I don't know if you're familiar with what I'm talking about.
Are you saying that like from what they learn from their parents or from past experiences, it predisposes them again for it in the future?
No, girls are turned on by grape scenes. Like in movie, like it's like no, I swear to God,
are you for real?
No, I'm serious. It's like a whole thing on Reddit. Yeah.
So psychiatrists are now saying, is that really? But they're saying that's a mental disorder.
I think that's evolution slightly, as like effed up as that is. What happened evolutionarily?
Right.
They would take the women, kill the kids.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's my guess. When I heard it, that's what I thought of, was like throughout history, that's what like happened.
That was just blowing my mind. I had no clue about that.
I don't know.
They would take. That's what happened in tribes. Like they would kill the men, kill the kids, take the women. If the old women, they were gone too.
Yeah, and then people, and you're saying women are